May the Lord prosper everybody connecting with us live here on Facebook who is seeking Jesus. May the Lord prosper all of you who are seeking to fulfill God's expectations for your life. We are going to start off today's broadcast with a very, very important topic, I believe, in reference to, it's a question asked by one of our sisters who was, who I was conversing with, who my wife and I were talking to, one of our sisters. We were talking about this whole transparency and how transparency breeds unity. And just to start off with explaining that, how transparency breeds unity, when we talk about transparency, we are describing communicating with those around you your thoughts and your feelings and your experiences. We're talking about being clear in communicating your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your experiences, your desires. That's what we're talking about when we use the word transparency. So, since we're talking about transparency, we are also, again, talking about how it breeds unity. When you are clear and you are intentional about communicating the things that go on in your mind, and you are intentional about letting people know what's going on in your heart and how experiences and occurrences have affected you and your actual desires. Since we're talking about transparency, we are also talking about unity. Why? Well, unity isn't just about, unity is descriptive of things coming together. All right? So we can say that something is unified because there are multiple parts, and the multiple parts are brought together, and they are sustained as a collective organism. Now it's an organization. We call it an organization because we're saying that there are different elements or different segments that have come together and they stick together. So that's what we call unity. Multiple parts and pieces coming together consistently, consistently. Things that remain together. So that's what unity essentially describes. When it comes to people, we are separated from each other physically, and we are separate from each other mentally. We're separate from each other emotionally. We're separate from each other concerning, spiritually. And that's really where it started. Once sin became a destructive aspect of creation, once sin became a problem, then you'll notice what happened with Adam and his wife. They felt weakened and threatened and vulnerable when they were the only two people around and they had absolute authority over the animals. Were the animals now going to pose a threat? Was the plant life now going to cause a threat? Was the weather threatening them? What is it about their nakedness that now was seen as a weakness, whereas before it was seen as normal? They were naked and there was no shame associated. That's exactly what Genesis 2 ends up stating. Genesis 2 ends off with the man and his wife were both naked and they were not ashamed. So when we talk about shame, we're talking about parts of our lives or parts of our beliefs or parts of our attitudes that would cause us to lose honor. We're talking about a loss of honor. We're talking about a loss of dignity. We're talking about a loss of value, a loss of strength. When you are embarrassed, it's descriptive of feeling as though you are inadequate, feeling as though there's a standard that you have come short of, and whatever's around you seems to know that you should be here, when in actuality you are here. You could be walking in the park and there be nobody around, and you trip over a branch, and that not really stir you up emotionally. But if you are walking in the middle of a mall and it's full of people, and someone's left a cardboard box on the ground, and you don't see it, you're having conversation with the people that you're at the you're having conversation with the people that you're with at the mall, and you slip. You don't fall, but you just slip on the cardboard that's on this glossy mall floor, and you know that you're in the presence of other people. You're more likely to be embarrassed. You're more likely to feel ashamed, because people should be strong. They should be capable. They should be perceptive. They should be in control. And so that's where we get our honor from. We get our honor from the part of our identity that gives us control over our environment. And so embarrassment is describing how you feel when you don't have control, and that's because we know that control is a part of our human identity. God created us in His image, and so we know that we're supposed to have control. And when we don't have control, then we feel weak, we feel insecure, we feel unsafe, we feel as though we've lost value, or as though we've lost our identity. So transparency then is the communication, the expression of your thoughts and of your feelings, so as to bring about connection or oneness, unity. When you tell people what you're thinking and what your motives are, you do so with the awareness that you might be scrutinized or evaluated by the people around you, and they might evaluate you as weak. They might evaluate you as worthless. They might think that they're better than you are. Because we feel endangered by each other, there are things that we don't say, and there are ways that we don't act. It's one thing if you don't say something because you know it's bad. It's another thing when you don't say something because you believe that saying it is going to cost you control over this situation or over this environment. You're going to lose honor. That's the fear. The fear is that you are in a dangerous world, and that if you are not mindful, if you are not protective, if you are not deceptive, if you are not hidden from the people around you, then they might criticize you, they may overlook you, they may ignore you, they may try to control you. So when we describe transparency, we're describing knowing the difference between good and evil by the power of the Spirit of God, and trying to communicate with the people around you what you're thinking, what you're feeling. In truth, you really believe this. You want to let people know how that experience affected you. You want to let people know what's going on, what things are occurring in your life. You do that with the intention of establishing relationships. You do that with the intention of, you communicate with people to bring about understanding. Understanding is for the sake of control. You want to feel safe in your world. You want people to respect you. You want people to give you what you need. You want people to leave what you have alone if it's yours and if you need it. You don't want people to take things from you that you value, and you want things that others have that may be valuable to your existence, to your life. And so manipulation or deception or secrecy or sinful levels of privacy, they cause gaps in relationships, gaps that prevent unity, gaps that cause suspicion, gaps that breed fear, because we fear what we don't know, we fear what we can't control, we fear what we believe would threaten our peace and our access to good things. Man knows that he is designed to have access to good things. Man is afraid because he also knows that he's lost access to good things, and man is trying to regain access to good things. So because we're trying to regain access to good things, we are unsure about how to gain access to things that we want. We don't know how to get what we want from people. We don't know how to get what we want from situations. And so we are constantly evaluating different behaviors that we should take on. We're trying to figure out what things we should say, what things we shouldn't say, what things we should do, what things we shouldn't do. What are the laws of human interaction? What are the laws of existence? What are the laws of life? We're constantly trying to evaluate the laws of life because we want to win. We want to succeed. We want to come out on top. We want peace. We want protection. We want love. We want resources. We want what we believe will enable us to fulfill our desires here on earth, here in this life. We understand that survival is the most important thing. We don't understand the extent to which survival is available. We don't know the extent to which success is available, but we know when we're on the road to success. We know when we're on the road to lasting survival. We are designed to perceive that. So, transparency, telling people what you think and telling people how you feel and telling people what your desires are and what your perspectives are and what happened to you that may threaten your goals. You've got goals, and so we are wise, or trying to be wise, concerning what we should and shouldn't divulge, what we should and shouldn't communicate, how we should and shouldn't stand, where we should and shouldn't go. So transparency is describing making people aware of your thoughts and your ambitions and the effects that experiences have had on you. Transparency is with the intention of removing the barriers to people actually knowing who you are which is and when we talk about who you are, again, we are talking about the culmination of your thoughts and your feelings and your plans. People that we feel are supportive of our goals, you're going to be clearer with. You're going to be more transparent toward. You're going to tell people that have communicated to you that they are for you. People that communicate that they are on your side or on your team, or they share your goals. People who let you know that they are in your corner, that they've got your back. You're going to let them in on what's going on in your mind and what's going on in your life and what went on in your life and what your plans are. You're going to be more transparent with them because you're going to sense that telling this person this or showing this person this part of me isn't going to cost me peace and safety. I'm not going to lose honor. I'm not going to lose value in their eyes. We know that we need each other, so we don't want to lose value in the eyes of others. We don't want to lose value in the eyes of people around us because we sense that we need people around us. Two are better than one. It's true. And since two are better than one, and since there's safety in a multitude of counsel, since the more access I have to people, the more influence I have over people, the safer I am. If I don't like the president of the Philippines and I want to go and take his life, if David decides, if the devil gets into David and says, go and take the life of the president of the Philippines, there are so many human barriers I'd have to go through to get to him because of his influence, because of the access he has to people, and because of the influence he has over people. So I can't go to the president of the Philippines and just take the guy's life forget the geographical boundaries. David, well, you've got to first get to the Philippines. You live in Florida. Forget all of that. It could happen. I could walk to California and then, tell somebody I want to take out the guy from the Philippines, and they just give me a free boat ride from there all the way to the Philippines. But once I get to one of the islands, whichever island he's on out there, I'd have to tell, hey, I'm here to take out the president of the Philippines. Oh yeah? No, we're not going to let you. What do you mean? I just want to go and take him out. Like, no. So he's got an entourage. There are systems, there are human systems that protect him. There are human systems that protect you. There are human systems. So the more influence you have, the more access you have, the more authority you have over people, the safer you are. You know that. The safer you are, the more power you have over people, the more power you have with people, the safer you are in this world. And so we are trying to protect ourselves by maintaining power over people, increasing power over people, and getting power with people. We're trying to protect ourselves. We don't want to lose value. We don't know where that loss of value will lead to. You don't know, wait, if I lose value with you by telling you what's really on my mind, I'm going to feel bad. I'm not designed to feel bad. If I feel bad because I tell you something that costs me, that I really think, I'm going to lose value. So we tell people things, people that we trust. What does it mean to trust someone? It means to believe, based on evidence, that this is what it is. Oh, I trust that tiger is going to devour me if I were to let it onto my patio out here. I don't trust that tiger around my kid because I trust it's going to act like a wild animal and it's powerfully built to do whatever it is it wants to do. It may want to do something bad, and I know it's fully capable of taking from me what I value. So I trust that tiger is a predator, and so I keep my distance from it. But if I trust that that vehicle is a means of movement and it can get me from one place to another, if I trust this Uber driver to get me from where I am to where I want to be, what I'm saying is I believe he is capable in multiple ways. He's mentally capable, he's physically capable of operating this motor vehicle to get me from where I am to where I want to be in the time that I want to make it. So when we talk about trust, we're talking about believing that something is what it is. If you've got people around you, there's an expectation that you have for the people that you communicate with, the people that you live with, the people that are in your environment. You have expectations for them. They have expectations for you. They look like God to varying degrees. All right? And so there's a sense of security. There's a sense of unity that you already expect. You don't expect people to pull their vehicle in front of yours and to jam on the brakes unless you have a suspicion that that's what they're going to do based on where you live. But when they do it, it still disturbs you. It still bothers you. You have expectations for people. You expect people to help you, to be available to you. It's something that you want, and so it's something that you expect. And you expect that these people are capable of benefiting you. You don't expect them to make your life worse. You expect people to make your life better. So when you have access to people to talk to them, you monitor, you gauge, you measure what you should say and what you shouldn't say, because you want to know if this person is going to benefit you. So you're going to measure what you say because you're looking for a reaction. You're going to reveal parts of your thoughts and your feelings because you want to know, does this person have my best interest at heart? Is this person going to help me or hurt me? He or she is supposed to help me. Let's see if they want to help me. Let's see if I tell them what I think and what I feel and what I've experienced and its effect on me and what I want. If I tell them that, are they going to help me to accomplish my goals, or are they going to prevent me from accessing peace and prosperity? Are they going to push me forward or push me back? What are they going to do? So we tell them little bits about ourselves. We try to control what people see when we communicate, about what we communicate. We try to limit what people can see about us because we don't know if they're friend or foe. If he seems like friend, I'm going to communicate, I'm going to be transparent with him to a limited degree until I am further convinced that he's friend. The more convinced I am that he or she is friend, then the more I classify him as friend, the more I'm going to be transparent with him. But the way for me to gain influence, to gain love with the person, the way for me to do it is to tell him things that I am thinking or that I'm feeling. I've got to tell him things. I've got to reveal a little bit at a time. I've got to be transparent in stages. And as I am, I look for a genuine reaction. And once I trust that the person is who they are showing themselves to be, then Okay, so I've made an ally in this life. I've made a friend. I've got a supporter. Somebody I've got to protect him. You know why? Because he protects me. And I've got to look out for him because he's looking out for me. He's a friend of mine, so I've got to be a friend of his. I've got to protect this investment. He gives me peace, so I've got to make sure that he's got what he needs to give me peace. Without transparency, without me letting you know, this is what I think, this is what I feel, this is what I believe, this is what I desire, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. Without me communicating that in an authentic, in a sincere way, if I am not sincere about what I'm communicating, if I am not sincere about what I'm communicating, I'm going to have fake friends and brittle, weak relationships, which is one of the reasons why social media is inadequate, because people are in more control of what they present. So we prefer virtual relationships because it seems like we have greater control over what people see of us. It's easier to present a limited image. It's easier when you're on social media. There are many barriers to people knowing what you really think and to what you really believe. So you got these fake relationships on here. Not all of these relationships are fake, but most of them are. Why? Because if you are fake, you're going to have fake friends. If you are a fearful person, if you're a fearful person, if you're afraid of people, you're going to have fake friends. Unless they love you and want to protect you. Unless they're only around you because they realize that you're afraid. Oh, you're afraid. Well, I'm here to protect you. I'm your real friend. Fine. Transparency is describing clarity, visibility. There are degrees of visibility. My actions and my words are communicating. I put forth effort to communicate what I really think and what I really feel. I put forth effort when I'm preaching, when I'm talking, to communicate to people what I really think and what I really feel, because I desire real relationships. I want people that I can share life with, because I know that people are pockets and containers of the love of God. I am designed, you are designed, we are designed to experience the love of God. So, because God puts love in containers like people put water in bottles, because God puts himself in people, the more vocal I am, the more expressive I am with people, the more access I have to people. Now, if I really say what I really feel, I'm going to attract people who want what I want, and I'm going to deter people who don't want what I want. So my transparency isn't just breeding unity, it's specifying who I will be united with, who I'm united with. If I'm a superficial, materialistic person, and I'm constantly presenting that, displaying how materialistic I am, then I'm going to be unified with materialistic people. If I am a liar, I'm going to attract liars. They'll feel comfortable being around me because I'm a liar. If I'm lustful, I'm going to attract lustful people. If I'm committed to Jesus and I am transparent, I am clear, I communicate that commitment, I'm going to attract people that are desirous of Jesus, who desire Jesus, like I desire him. There are parts, now because we are fragmented, meaning there are different parts of our personalities, some of which conflict because there are, so we may be 35% godly and 80 and 70 and 65% wicked. Well, 35% of you may like this godly person, but the 65% of you fights against the 35%. So your relationship with that godly person is going to be inconsistent. Because if that person is 65% godly and 35% ungodly, and their godliness is increasing, the parts of them that are godly, that they present, that they display, that they're transparent about, is going to irk the 65% of your ungodliness. So if godly people hang out with ungodly people, then the more the godly communicate their godliness, the communication of their godliness is going to affect the other person who's ungodly. It's going to challenge his thoughts and his feelings and his beliefs and his desires. It's going to challenge him. It's going to force him to evaluate what standard he should be living by. He's going to decide whether he wants to yield to this change within himself based on the relationship, the interaction. This person is communicating who and what they are. This person is communicating who and what they are. The unity is a process of breaking down distinction. Unity is the result, but it's also the process of breaking down differences, things that make us different, because whatever makes us different keeps us separate. Whatever makes us different keeps us separate. So, and the only way that that's not true is if your differences support my growth and my differences support your growth. You've got a hot dog and I've got a bun. So, we're friends. When your differences, if this person is 35% godly, this person is 65% godly, the 35% guy could be adding something to the 65% guy, increasing his godliness. And this guy, 35%, is also increasing in godliness. When this guy is working his 65% and this guy is working his 35% of faith and obedience, the guy who's godly is eliminating sinful areas in this guy's life, and this guy is eliminating sinful areas in this guy's life. But when 65% ungodly guy is more influential in this relationship, if the guy who's mostly wicked is more expressive and more impactful in his expression than this godly guy over here, then the more darkness that is communicated through this guy, it'll weaken the light in this guy, and he can go from 65% to 45% to 25%. So transparency is a declaration of who and what you are. As you are working on growth in God and development, you are telling people who you are, what you think, what you feel and believe, because you are aware that these relationships are designed to make you more godly. You have a goal to please God. You have a goal to know God, to interact with God. So your clarity, so you're going to say this and do that because you need your words and actions judged and scrutinized by godly people around you. If you are afraid of that scrutiny and of that examination, if you are afraid of that and you hide yourself, then you're going to limit your ability to grow for a number of reasons. Let's read Sister Tracy's comment here. She says, before she joined or attended a church, she went to church once 19 years old, then about 25 years old, then 35. Pastor said it's hard fooling you. I agreed. Others said you have high discernment. Didn't know what that meant. But yes, just saying I'm very reserved and separated from others because it's difficult to have genuine relationships. It is. So when we are loners, as Sister Tracy is mentioning, it inhibits your growth because people have what you need. People have what you need. God is God, and God gives us what we need in a variety of ways. People are ways through which God transmits love and peace and power and protection. So that's why we call it the church. It is the congregation. The church is not an individual. The church is a congregation of parts. So, I'm not suggesting you go anywhere, but I am saying that isolation is a barrier to the will of God. It is not the platform. So when we talk about transparency enabling unity, as Sister Tiffany is saying, it enables influence and change through honest communication. Transparency describes you conveying what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you believe, what you desire, what's occurring in you. You do that, so for instance, for those of you that are not married, I tell people this. Once I got married, I began to understand women a bit more, and I realized something, that telling people what you are looking for, Mr. Crystal said people don't appreciate your honesty, your transparency. Telling people what you are looking for up front, being transparent. You meeting someone, a man meets a woman. He communicates with her because they're at the grocery store. They're both in the refrigerated goods section. He finds her physically attractive. He doesn't know whether she finds him attractive. He finds her physically attractive. And so she's met one requirement of his. Okay, well, She is physically acceptable. Cool. Whether she's tall or short, big or little. Okay. So she meets that requirement. I'm going to ask her if she likes this cream cheese. I'm going to say something. Communication is a form of transparency. Communication. All communication is a form of transparency. All communication is a form of transparency. Even if you're a liar. If you're a liar, you're telling your lies, you're expressing your lies, it'll be known that you're a liar. Eventually it'll come out, oh, that guy's a liar, or he's a fool, or he's a wise man, or this guy is honest. Communication is a form of transparency. So, this lady is here in the good section. I, the unmarried guy, I'm here in the good section. I see her, I feel something. I think something. I'm going to communicate with her that I'm thinking and feeling something by starting up a conversation with a total stranger. I'm being transparent at that very moment about my own thoughts and feelings to a very limited degree, to a safe degree. To a safe degree, I'm going to let this lady know in the grocery section that I am interested in unity. What kind of unity? We're going to find out. So, I'm in the store, she's in the store. I look at her. I'm evaluating what I think and feel. I'm evaluating the risks. What are the risks to this conversation? She could look at me like I'm crazy and I'm some kind of stalker. Like, what are you doing? I'm here to shop. Don't talk to me. She could look, I could lose value with her. And I could be seen as some weak guy who's looking for companionship. I don't want to feel like that. So I've got to be extremely limited. I've got to say something really moving and stirring and something that keeps me in control. So I've got to joke. I've got to do something, say something that because I'm feeling and thinking something. I don't know what she's not communicating anything to me. She's just here. So there's no transparency outside of just her being here. That's communication in and of itself. She's here, I'm here. She's communicating, her presence communicates, my presence communicates. But now I'm going to communicate a bit more. I'm going to go a bit further and say something because I have a goal. My goal is marriage. I don't know if this is her here. But she's met one standard, so I'm going to talk to her about cream cheese. Yes, so that cream cheese is very, very good. I don't know if you've ever had it. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that since you were standing right here. And I can adjust my body, which says, now that I've said that, I'm waiting for a response from you, and I want to determine how you see me. I don't want you to see me as weak and in need, as someone that you could or should control. So I'm going to readjust. Yeah, that's some good cream cheese. Yeah, I have to readjust because I don't want you to think I'm weak, because I need leverage. I need the advantage in this communication. I need to maintain control until I feel like, you're going to give me control. I'll give you control if you give me control. So we're going to barter. We're going to go back and forth over control. So, yes. So, that's some good cream cheese. Yeah, that's some good, yeah. So I'm going to say that. And then she's going to look at me. And then she's going to decide why I said that. She's going to evaluate, like, why did this guy just say that to me? Wait, I am a woman. He's a guy. Does he want something? If in her mind she does not have the same goal as me, she's not going to give me an acceptable response. She doesn't want unity with me. Or she's going to say, I'm sorry, I have no idea why you just said that to me, but I want nothing to do with you. That's a form of unity. She just told me her absolute intentions. 0. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want you to talk to me. Did you want to talk to me? Because I don't want you to. Are you aware of that? Now that you're aware of it, I'm safe. I'm safe here because I just told you I don't want anything to do with me. You should adjust. And once you adjust, I'm safe. When you realize I want nothing to do with you, I am now safe again. And I can go back to shopping. Because that's what I'm here for. I'm not here for a husband. But the guy, he's waiting for that response. He wants to know, how am I viewed? Can I marry this person? It could start here in the grocery store. I want to marry someone. And it could be this lady. So I'm going to talk to her about cream cheese. Cream cheese. What am I really saying? Could you be my wife? That's what I'm really, see, that's what I'm really saying. What I'm really saying is, I want to be married. It could be you. Could you want to marry me? And are you willing to work through all of the differences that we have as we communicate in the future? Even though I just met you just now? That's what I'm really saying. I'm really saying, do you want to marry me? I just asked her about cream cheese, but I'm really saying, but see, that's transparency to a limited degree. I mentioned cream cheese, which tells her I want to communicate with her. Does she want to communicate with me? Because the more communication, the more transparent. The more communication, the more transparent, the more visible you are. Your body language. So if you're really stiff, you're not communicating anything other than the fact that you're protected. I'm stiff, I'm protected. If I'm sitting there bobbing my head, hey, that cream cheese, yeah? Cream cheese is very, very good on all kinds of things. Yep. I'm communicating a lot right now. I'm being transparent a lot right now. A lot's happening. And then she's going to decide, oh, okay, so he's okay, I guess. He seems safe. He seems like he's not going to take anything from me. He seems like he's not going to take anything from me. Oh, well, yes, I do like cream cheese. I like cream cheese. Like, oh, yeah? Yeah, well, that's really good. I'm glad that now I'm affected. I'm affected by her response. I'm affected by she likes cream cheese too. Like, whoa, man. Now what? Because I want to marry her. I want to marry her because we've talked about cream cheese. I want to marry her. She's just giving me a signal. She's signaling back. I sent the signal. I got a signal back. Morse code. And she responded. Beep, 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 beep. Oh. So, you are interested now. Like, how do I get from cream cheese to do you want to marry me? To us having a life of ministry together. Going all over the world, preaching this gospel. How do I get from there to here? Like, how do I do that? Little bits of transparency, man. Little bits of communication. Like, well, yeah, cream cheese is excellent. I can't give too much too soon. I can't give too much too soon. I've got to, like, yeah, so, I mean, you know, I like cream. Oh, yeah, so cream cheese is exceptional. And I'm glad that they make it in Philadelphia, or Philadelphia cream cheese is really good. You know, Philadelphia means the city of brotherly love. And then she's going to signal back with a bit more transparency. So now she's comfortable. Oh, yeah, brotherly love. Yeah. And I say, And I say, so you know, that's in the Bible. Like Philadelphia, like it's a place, but it's also in the Bible, like in some other place in Greece. And she says, oh, you read the Bible? Look at what just happened. Look at what just happened. Yeah, so, I say, yeah. So, yep. And then I say, that's in the Bible, man. And if I had a wife, I would go to Philadelphia and probably preach there. I would go there and probably preach there. If I had a wife, I'm not married, but I'd like to be. And I'd probably go to Philadelphia to preach. So, and she says, oh, I've never been to Philadelphia. I'd like to go there someday. You know what? I just almost got married right then. Like, I just almost got married right then. I just told her about going to preach in Philadelphia. I said if I had a wife, I would go there. She just said to me, I've never been to Philadelphia. I'd like to go someday. We just got married at Walmart. We just got married. We just got married right here. It just didn't happen yet. We just got married. Now we just have to work out the details. We have to agree to the terms of the marriage. We just got married. We just got married right then. Like, yep. So, will you marry me? Not now. I'm just saying, generally speaking, like if you like what you see as we get forward, would you? Like, could that be a thought in your mind? Because we can work that out. Like, we can go back and forth, and our agents can really work things out. So right then, I just little bit. All right. So transparency then breeds understanding, which breeds consistency in activity, consistency in interaction. And as we are consistent in our interaction, then people will know whether they're safe around us or whether they should be far away from us. So what we're talking about is knowing our responsibilities and communicating the awareness of our goals while also gauging what we're saying in the process. Because we have these goals, we communicate our thoughts and our feelings because we need to judge whether our thoughts and feelings are good for the accomplishment of our goals or they're bad. And people around us are going to help us know whether the communication of our thoughts and whether our thoughts and feelings, once we communicate them, are good for us or bad. People are going to tell us by their reactions. We're going to gauge their reactions. We're going to check what the standard says, because I could think I'm meeting the standard, but someone else could communicate that I'm not, based on the standard. So, once we find ourselves letting people know what our real thoughts are and what our real ambitions are, then we're going to attract people who support that. And since we are on assignment by God to be excellent and to overcome in the name of Jesus in this life, we are finding ways to unite with those who also have that goal so that we can accomplish it in a greater and a more effective way. So we let people know what we think and what we feel because it brings togetherness. It allows people to give us what they have for us, and it allows us to give people what we have for them. So, communication so transparency breeds unity. Communication brings understanding between separate parts, because communication is literally the transmission of information from one object to another. That's what communication is. You're transmitting power and bringing about connectivity. So communication is the line between two separate objects. We're either going to attract or repel based on communication. That's it, brothers. So Brother David, I work to effectively communicate what I'm saying or what I believe in and desire, so as to ensure my relationships are genuine, they are God-given, and that they are fulfilling the will of God. Let's answer Sister Tiffany's question here. What about when you know how things are likely to turn out? Okay, so Jesus did not seem overly concerned with the things he'd say in the presence of the Pharisees. So Jesus would say stuff like, "You guys are fools." Like, whoa, man. The guy just called me a fool. Yeah. I just said that. I just communicated that to you. You have two options. You either adjust or you go, like, you don't want to hang out with me anymore. The Pharisees would literally follow Jesus. Some of them. Follow this guy all over. We don't like him, and so we follow him. We want to get him in trouble, so we follow him because he likes to talk. And we watch him. We want to hear him say something that we can incriminate him by. So when you are trying to make friends, because friends are good, and it's better to be friends than enemies with people, if possible. If possible, you're trying to live peaceably with all men. You say stuff like you gauge, what relationship am I supposed to have with this person, and you speak accordingly. You just insulted everybody from Nazareth. You said, could there be anything good that comes from Nazareth? In your perspective, everybody from Nazareth is a scumbag. Guy insulted everybody from Nazareth. Hey, look, an Israelite that's not a liar. Okay. He just called all the Israelites except me a liar. I wonder how he feels about, okay, wow, so where do you know me from? I saw you under the fig tree. And this guy is the Lord. Okay, so Jesus spoke to distinguish his friends from his enemies. Jesus would reveal things about himself, and when he withheld himself from people, it was with the purpose of ensuring that when Jesus withheld himself from people, it was with the purpose of letting people know, oh yes, I'm not your friend. Oh no, I'm not your friend. And if you want to be my friend, you've got to make some drastic changes, lady. Master, help me. I'm going to ignore her and keep walking. Master, help me. She's communicating with me her need, and I'm showing her that I'm focused on the business. And she keeps pressuring me, and now the disciples are saying, send her away. She's crying after us. Send her away. And so Jesus stops and says, I am not sent but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So now he's communicating where he stands. I am not here for the Gentiles, I'm here for the Jews. She says, help me, he says. Then he communicates even further. You're not worthy. Your daughter is not worthy. They're like, you and your daughter are like dogs. And the Jews, they're the real children. And she has to agree with him to have a relationship with him. A productive, accessible relationship. So, yes, Lord, but even the dogs, like my daughter and I, eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. You're my master and I'm a dog. I agree. And his response was promotion. Okay, so you accept that I'm calling you in your present state a dog? So what are the words that come out of his mouth? Oh woman, now he gets deeper in his transparency. You guys are not worthy. You and your daughter are dogs. And what's beneath that deep love? Oh woman, great is your faith. Be it unto you. You have full access to what it is that I offer as your master. You now, because you were very transparent and because you gave up You surrendered your entire self to me. Now you have access to myself. I have all the kingdom. It's right in me by the Holy Ghost. You now have access to that immediately. There you go. You can have, he said, be it unto you even as you will. You can have everything you just wanted. Like, with that kind of commitment, because there is no such thing as commitment without transparency, without letting people know what you think and where you are and what your desires are, and conforming to the requirements of the relationship. There's no such thing as unity unless we conform to the requirements of the relationship. So you work to distinguish your friends from your enemies by grades and measures of transparency. You say things that you think your friends should accept because of your assignment from God. Well, I'm this person, and so I need people around me who believe things this way. And so I'm going to say crazy things. I'm going to say crazy, direct things that if you're my friend, you're going to accept that. And if you're my enemy, you're not. How dare this guy? How dare this guy just say that's messed up? Yeah. If I detect that one of my friends is a Seventh-day Adventist, I'm going to say things to draw that out of him. Oh, he's a Seventh-day Adventist and he's not telling me. I'm going to draw it out. Oh, this guy loves the world. I'm going to draw it out of him. I'm going to say really extreme things to see how he reacts. Yes, man, eat my flesh and drink my blood, brother. That's what you got. If you want to be my friend, you got to eat my flesh and drink my blood. You got to eat my flesh and drink my blood. Like, man, I can't follow that. John 6:66 says, and from that point, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. And what about you? You guys are still here? Yes. Where are we going to go? You've got the words of eternal life. I sure do. And one of you is a devil. Like, man, stop with the punching in the face already. No. I know whom I've chosen. I need to, I just told you we're not leaving you. One of you is a devil. He just communicated. Yeah, he really thought and felt that. Yeah, I have to say this. I need my friends to know what's really going on. I need my enemies to know what's really going on. Yeah, man. Only the wicked are looking for signs. They're like gold diggers. The wicked. Like, what? But that's what I came here for. Yeah, exactly. So, how do you feel? Do you want to be wicked? Because if you do, then this is what I think about wicked people. If you want to be righteous, well, this is what I think about righteous people. So make your choice. So transparency is with your fishing. When you're being transparent, you are fishing. Good relationships. Hey, you want this? This is what I think. This is what I feel. It's what it is, brothers. It's what it is. Transparency breeds unity, and it distinguishes. It is supposed to distinguish. Your relationships are critical to your growth and development. And your proximity in relationships. If you know you've got access to people, and you know that people are a blessing, you have to increase your access to them. Brothers, did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that you're not allowed to haphazardly engage what you know you need? You're not allowed to haphazardly engage what you know you need. If you know you need it, you're supposed to, I need that. I need to drink all of it. I need access to all of that. Oh, whoa. You have what I need. I need full access. Well, you can't have full access unless you give full access. That's what it is. Oh, well, I need to come to West Palm. Well, Brother Dave, I need to just stop playing and just move out there. I need to move into your house. Well, brother, my wife may not like that, so you may not be able to move into my house. But there are lots of other houses in the West Palm Beach area. I mean, you may not be able to move in with a brother, but you're not allowed to minimize your access to what you know you need. Because if you do, you will lose access to what you need. It's what it is. It's what it is, brothers. So you got to live a prayerful life. Lord, help me. Help me. That's what it is. I'm telling you right now. Communication. Communication, access, unity. You act in a way that brings out your supporters and that pushes away those that are not good for your growth. You gotta do it. You gotta say stuff. You gotta express. You gotta be trained. You gotta be clear. You need people around you that love Jesus and love you. And those that don't, they need to change in order to be around you. And you better live by a standard that tells them, hey, I love you. If you don't love Jesus and me, I'm going to give you what you need when I see you on the street. But we're not going to communicate, extensively. No. I'm not going to be around you. I'm just not going to do it. I love you. I'm not going to be around you because you are hurtful to my assignment from Jesus. That's what it is, brothers. I love you all. This is your brother David Williams of Jesus Ministries. God willing, we will see some of you tonight in our worship gathering. On Wednesday night, we're there. Our information is below. It'll be below, God willing, in the next X amount of minutes and hours. We'll talk again.